Hello everyone, Ryan here. So this week's Music Monday obviously will be posted late. And also too, last week I didn't do Music Monday primarily because of the Memorial Day weekend. So yeah, I got busy doing family stuff. So, but anyways, oh, and by the way, too, if you're not familiar with this thing I do on my channel called Music Monday, all I do is I talk about the bands that I listen to on a regular basis, or bands that I used to listen to on a regular basis. Also other groups, musicians, artists, whatnot. And, so, I mean, of course, a lot of them will be heavy metal bands, thrash metal bands, hard rock bands, or just rock bands in general. But some of them will be like blues artists, possibly even like some reggae, some country, but I mean like very old school country. So. But anyways, this week I want to talk about Iron Maiden. Of course, I know a lot of people have heard of Iron Maiden before. I mean, they started way back in sometime in 1975, I believe, in London, East London, if I'm not mistaken. And, of course, I don't really recall the very first time that I heard any Iron Maiden song. I mean, I wish I could pinpoint it, but I don't know, I think I just remember I was introduced to them through some friend or friend of a friend in high school, and just kind of snowballed from there. Like, I got more and more into their music. You know, one thing I will say, the singer Bruce Dickinson, for me, he's always been one of my all-time favorite heavy metal singers, rock singers, also power metal singers, because I know technically Iron Maiden are considered to be a power metal band, because most of their music, it's not heavy. It's not heavy, but it does have, you know, a lot of it is fast-paced, I guess, but not super fast-paced. So it's not like extreme fast thrash metal or death metal. So, I mean, power metal is definitely accurate. And especially with the way that the singer Bruce Dickinson, the way he sings, he's definitely got a lot of power behind his voice. And although, you know, I don't know if that's still the case nowadays, but I imagine it is. I mean, I've only seen Iron Maiden in concert once in my life. And it was back when their album Brave New World had just been released. It was the first new album they did with Bruce Dickinson in like over, I don't know how many years. 10 years or something, like close to 10 years, I don't know. I mean, it was like 8 or 9 years. I don't remember. Because, yeah, there was a time when, you know, he left the band, did his own thing for a while. They had a replacement singer. I never really liked the guy that replaced Bruce Dickinson. And I mean, I guess he was okay, you know, but I didn't like him. But yes, I mean, the album Brave New World came out. I honestly, I believe it came out in 2001, 2000, or sometime between 2000 and 2002. I don't know. My memory's kind of foggy on that. Because, I mean, I've only seen him once, and, you know, I got kind of an interesting story with that, but, because back then, my dad was the one who would buy all the concert tickets for me, which was really cool, you know. I mean, he was always cool about, you know, letting me know that, you know, if he could afford concert tickets, that all I would have to do was ask him, if he could buy them for me. So, yeah. But then, because at that time too, like I remember it was like when I was struggling to keep my grades up, or no, I was like, something happened where I just vaguely remember I got like a bad report card, and I made a deal with my dad because I told him it was like a month after my bad report card, and I found out Iron Maiden was coming to town, and I told him I wanted to go, and then he told me that he would buy the tickets for me only if I promised to raise my grades, like do my best to study hard and raise my grades and all that. And so of course I agreed, and I really don't remember what happened. I mean, I just remember, back then, like, I guess because that's also when I got really into music and guitar, like playing my guitar, learning everything I could about different playing techniques and all that, and yeah, I let everything else fall to the wayside, so I really wasn't interested in anything else that had anything to do with school other than my guitar class. And so, but anyways, I unfortunately, like, I wasn't able to bring my grades up, but I didn't tell my dad that until after the Iron Maiden concert. And I mean, I ended up going to the concert with a friend, who at that time was a friend, but later on he became like pretty much an asshole, a pretty big asshole. Like, he got involved with some other guys from school, and all they cared about was just getting high and snacking and laying around and just making fun of everyone else who wasn't them. Or but yeah, anyways, I mean, the concert was an awesome concert. I mean, I remember they didn't play too many of their old songs, but also at that time, that was when they had already started touring with 3 guitar players. So actually, I would say 3 lead guitar players. I mean, obviously they switched off every now and then. Sometimes one guy would play rhythm, and then 2 guys would play this awesome lead part, or 2 guys played rhythm, and 1 guy would play an awesome lead part. And then there was even like some songs where like all 3 guitar players played this really awesome, like really synced up kind of lead part guitar solo. And well, I guess technically at that point it can't be referred to as a solo. Some kind of triple thing. It was definitely awesome. And then like one of the guitar players, I remember he would take off his guitar and then swing it around, but he was swinging around by the cord. I don't know how he was able to do that without having the cord snap out or pull out, or I mean, obviously, I guess he would have had to have had it rigged up in a certain way to ensure that the cord didn't pop out. But yeah, I remember it was just an awesome concert all around. Also, too, at that concert, I think the openers were the first opener was Rob Halford from Judas Priest. That was when Rob Halford was like doing some solo tour. And then the other band after Rob Halford, was Queensryche. So yeah, I remember Queensryche was also pretty awesome too. Really, I mean, they didn't have, to me, they sounded just like any of their CDs, so any of their albums. And so did Iron Maiden, And I remember too, like halfway through, like Bruce Dickinson looked like he was annoyed or something, and because I don't know, supposedly there was someone like down in front, like where I was sitting, me and my friend, we were sitting like kind of more towards the nosebleed section. But we could still see perfectly fine. We weren't that far away, but kind of, maybe like 10 or 12 feet away from the nosebleed section. But yeah, so I guess down in front, a lot of people who were standing in front of the stage were throwing stuff on stage, and I don't know if they were doing that just to agitate each band member, or and like supposedly one guy had a laser pointer. I don't know how many people remember laser pointers. I don't even know if people still use laser pointers. But at that time, I guess that there were there was a lot of mini laser pointers being sold back then. So some guy who was in front at the concert, he had one of those, and he was flashing it in Bruce Dickinson's face, and so at one point, like after one of their songs, and Bruce Dickinson, like, you could tell he was pissed off, and like he like shouted at the guy with the laser pointer, and said something like, "Hey mate, stop, quit your bullshit," or he said something along those lines, and but yeah, other than that, it was a pretty awesome concert. And of course, like I said, afterwards, when my next report card came, and my dad realized that I didn't get my grades up. In fact, I think they dropped a little more. And yeah, obviously my dad was pissed off, and and then at one point, like, he finally told me, that he said, because I knew about my grades anyways, but I didn't bother to tell him, because I knew that if I told him, he wouldn't have let me go to the concert. So, and of course, one of the things my dad did find out, and he told me, he was like, so you didn't tell me that your grades were still low because you knew I wouldn't let you go to the concert, is that it? And I was honest with him. I said, yeah, that's exactly it. I mean, obviously when I look back on it now, I can laugh about it. At that time, I was, at the time I would say I was like mildly disappointed in myself. I mean, I know my dad was like immensely disappointed, but still, back then I was still grateful that I got to see Iron Maiden in concert. And to this day, I'm still grateful that I got to see him. Even though, yeah, I lied, and I know, yeah, that lying is wrong. You shouldn't lie. But I mean, hey, it wasn't like, that was like one of the handful of times that I actually lied to my parents, like, and even then, like, every other time I lied, it wasn't like, I never snuck out of the house to go wander around and cause havoc, or I never went to various house parties and got drunk, experimented with drugs. I didn't do that as a teenager. I didn't even do that in my 20s. Well, I guess, by then, nobody really cares that much what a 20-something-year-old does, or to a certain extent, but yeah. But yeah, so I mean, that's really all I wanted to say about Iron Maiden. Because I mean, what else can I say that hasn't already been said? Some of their favorite songs. I mean, some of my favorite songs of theirs are "Run to the Hills," "Wasted Years," "Hallowed Be Thy Name," "The Trooper," "The Number of the Beast," "Brave New World," and so on and so forth. And "Flight of Icarus." I think "Flight of Icarus" is definitely one of my all-time favorite Iron Maiden songs. Yeah, it's just, I like the guitar riffs, the drums, and also too, I mean, each member of Iron Maiden, they're definitely awesome musicians. They've been doing it for so long. I mean, yeah. But I feel like even when they first started, they were still pretty awesome. So, and also I'm aware that there's several different Iron Maiden tribute bands. I know of one which is supposed to be like the only Iron Maiden approved Iron Maiden tribute band. It's an all-female band. They're just called the Iron Maidens. And they've actually toured. I mean, the tribute band, this all-female tribute band, they've actually toured as the tribute band. Tribute to Iron Maiden. And they're actually pretty awesome. You know, so... Yeah, I don't know. I've always felt, you know, it definitely says something when a tribute band gets a hell of a lot of recognition for paying tribute to another band, and you know, there's, you know, although me personally, I don't believe in trying to copy anyone, or you know, it's never been my thing. I mean, even in different bands that I've played in, you know, I've never felt comfortable with doing covers, and it's, granted, I have done it, but that was because I did it mostly to get paid to do it. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, anyways, it's, you know, Iron Maiden is an awesome band. If somehow you haven't heard any of their songs or seen any of their music videos, I will provide those links down below. You should definitely check those out. Because, yeah, I mean, they're one of those bands that I believe everyone should listen to at least a couple times in their lifetime. So, yeah. So anyways, thanks for watching this. Thanks for listening. As always, next time, don't forget, keep it real, keep on rocking, and peace.